Fig fam. How are we? Figs and coffee. Guys, I gotta mulch. It's summer and I'm almost there. I laid out this like compost topsoil blend that I have just to douse the trees. And I'm gonna mulch the crap out of it today for two reasons. One, for hydration. Two, for microbiome health. It's hot out, so I'm gonna stay hydrated. And we'll talk about it a little bit when I'm doing it. But also, look at all the fig trees. It's kind of a dream come true. I come out here and I'm like, there's a lot of figs. And then I go, you know what though? It never gets old. It never gets old. So, all right, let's jump into it. Let's put some mulch down. So before I lay the mulch, I have a huge pile in my shaded area of a topsoil and compost blend I got from Wilmington Compost Company. It's extra that I wasn't able to place this spring. And so before I went and I looked at where all my old mulch was, and I looked at this as a nutrient agent that I could put on top. But normally like exposed dirt isn't great for microbiomes. So the top layer isn't gonna be great, but there's still nutrients in it because I just got it this spring. I'm only doing a thin layer of this because I wanna get the nutrients out of it, but topsoil can be pretty dense. And so just a thin layer on top, I'm talking like, I don't know, half an inch, if that, because figs like shallow root systems. But it's just kind of like another organic multivitamin that I can give to the fig trees and around my property, other plants too, because I'm mulching the whole property today. I got a whole blueberry patch I've started. I got more fig trees along the back fence. I have my whole micro orchard here. And so I'm just putting a thin layer here. It's allowing me to chip away at this big batch of soil that I have. And, you know, normally I would say just get compost, but you use what you have, right? And I have probably 5 cubic yards of a topsoil compost blend. And this topsoil is pretty porous, but it's still more dense than you would expect this regular compost to be. So that's why I'm sticking to a thin layer. I'm gonna fill up. I have a few more, fill up. And I'll show you what I'm doing over the micro orchard, and then we'll mulch it right on top. And there's a few reasons we apply mulch that's really important. But for me, I'm just adding more organic matter to my soil base before I mulch it on top, and I can kind of trap that nutrients in there and start feeding the microbiome. I'm going to apply this and about 2 inches of mulch on top. Look at that good stuff. Now you can see behind me, I've already put out a huge long layer of my topsoil compost blend, and it's starting to settle out. We had some rain, but it's a little dry. I don't like how it looks here. What's most important is that we get the mulch on top. This has nutrients in it, but I don't want it to become a dead space. I want to enclose it, encapsulate with nice hydration, and expose the microorganisms to it, and let it become this awesome soil space for my trees. And when I create that microlife, I will be able to reduce the amount of time that I need to spend fertilizing my trees. And that's like the overall goal, right? Kind of like a sourdough bread starter, right? Also, I'm putting layers of good soil that is hydrophilic and mulch that is very hydrophilic and trapping moisture in, which will allow moisture to stay in the soil for my trees to absorb it during the hot summer months. That's what I'm doing. You can see it all across here. And I have one small section left right here next to my Figo Preto and my Paradiso. So you guys could all see right in here. And this is where it's all gonna go. You can actually see the weeds that are coming up through here, and I'm not too picky about them. In fact, when I lay the topsoil down, you'll see the tall roots still sticking out, and that'll give me a chance to pull them up before I lay down the mulch. All right, let me bring that dirt over. Oh yeah. Now you can certainly use one of these rakes, the metal ones, to spread, and it works pretty good. But I love this thing that I used when I built my patio. Kind of like a hoe, but I used it for like screeding and things when I was laying out the sand from a patio, and the thing is awesome. I don't even remember what it's called. but I think it was used more for cement and stuff. But man, it works great. I can push the soil out, slide it out. And remember, I'm just making that thin layer because it's pretty dense stuff. Yes, it's porous. Yes, rain will get through. But I'm about to put a bunch of mulch on top. So this is just an additional feed for my trees and soil. But I can rake it too, and it pools soil really well. Wrap it around the trees nice and shallow, keeping... When you put soil or mulch around a tree, you do not want a mound. You want a bowl. You want everything to be off of that trunk and base. Around it's fine, but right up against there, you're putting it at risk for disease and rot. So a nice bowl here. The tree will be safe. All right, it's all laid out. Let me give you a quick scoop on what it looks like. Well, I got some shade. It's hot here. It's gonna be in the 90s today, so I'm trying to get it done now in the morning, fueled by coffee. But look, you can see. Now, ideally, I wanted to do this all in the same day, but I'm a parent. I have other responsibilities. This is my special time out in the garden that I get to share with all of you. So it's spaced out. So I'm giving myself grace. And I hope you guys give yourself grace too, because if it stops being fun and becomes a chore, you got to find a better balance. But look, so I have that nice base layer. I did throw some bags of mulch here earlier, so I scraped off that mulch and I put that underneath because it was fresh mulch, but I am still going to double down on the mulch on top of my cotyledons just because they get the most solar exposure because they have full sun for a huge chunk of the day. They're up against a greenhouse, which adds to the solar intensity. Want to make sure that they're nice and covered. So they were the first plants I went to address this. But if you look closely, it's just a thin layer. You can see some of these weeds are still coming through. And when they're coming through like this, they're just easy to pull. And I can get that taproot. But anything smaller than that gets covered up and it'll be covered up again with the mulch. It's a thin layer, guys. And make sure you just want to keep it off that trunk. A nice bowl around it, and you'll see an accentuated bowl with the mulch as well. Beautiful morning out here. I love this stuff, guys. That's what it's all about. Look at all these figs. Oh, yay. Get those in garden endorphins. All right, let's put some mulch in. I'm just going to stop everyone for a moment. If you got a Celeste for me, it's probably from this tree. I call it the mother tree. It's amazing. Every branch has figs on it. It ripens end of July, beginning of August, and feeds the whole neighborhood. It's on my neighbor's property, but they have given it to me to care for. And in the 4 years I lived here, it has almost doubled, if not tripled in size. It's an immaculate tree. And I just wanted to share that with all of you. All right, back to mulch. Whew, comes the heat. One down. Speed this up, fast track it. Clip to when I finish. Woo! Well, that was hot and sweaty. It's a workout. You guys can see. It's always worth the workout, though. I got the kids playing in the sprinkler next door, and I got the mulch laid out just in time for lunch. Check it out. Walk with me. So you can see my Mount Etna here, covered with figs. But you can see I laid out mulch all the way down across all of my trees. Walk with me. And I put about 2 inches or so more in corners. Oh, it's the back. See my Stella here? It's just that hot summer heat. This is in ground for years, guys. It's just drooping and needs some water. So I got an irrigation system that I'm going to add to the mulch layers here on top. My Teramo, my White Genoa, my Genovese and Nero. And here we're getting into my workhorse varieties. Cotyledon Noir, Cotyledon Blanc, which is putting out figs now. It's a late ripening variety here in Wilmington, North Carolina. My Cotyledon Gris, which is just happily growing right behind everybody. Just content, just doing its thing. It's a lot of solar intensity here, so using all this mulch, I'm using a thicker layer here just to maintain that moisture because it gets so hot in this corner. But then you'll see I did something interesting here. From this space back to my negative Ogday, this is where I know I had root knot nematodes. This whole mulching process is on the path to eliminate them. So whether I have it over here or not, I know I have it here. And what I'm going to do before I put the mulch down is I'm going to put a hard black plastic for a few months, and I'm going to cook it. Let it get through the heat of the summer and cook that soil to get rid of the root knot nematodes in this space. And so I'm going to lay out that plastic fabric here. Another way to go about it too is I can cover this in a bed of French marigolds I learned, and also mustard greens. And when they grow out, I can chop and drop them, and it's almost like it's natural biofumigant. And then I can cover it with plastic again. So there's a few ways we can go about it. And then I did something really important around the trunk. And I want to show you guys, if you are mulching your trees, a lot of you may know this already, but if you don't, especially fruit trees, we'll use my Genovese Nero and we'll use my Col de Doms. Hey Fig Fam, so here's the one important piece of mulching that I want to remind everyone is to make sure you have a bowl around your tree and not a cone. Keeping a bowl around your fig tree prevents organic matter from being up against the bark of your tree, and that can cause rot and decay and disease on your tree. So keep a nice bowl. It's great for watering. It keeps all the water in this space where it'll diffuse into the soil bed and spread out amongst the shallow root systems. And then I have a nice thick layer of hardwood bark mulch. Shout out to Wilmington Compost Company. Thanks Riley and the team. It smells great. And now I have a nice cover for the summer to protect all the microbiology that is in the soil system, to help it proliferate and grow and keep certain species from taking over, like root knot and things like that. And then we can just take care of the trees, water them less frequently, and they will benefit not just for hydration, but nutrient wise. So happy soil life, happy plant life. So Fig Fam, you kind of got to see me get nice, hot, and sweaty today, laying out this mulch that is going to carry me through the summer. Keep these trees happy. Keep the drooping from happening. Let them get their leaves nice and big. Let the watering commence. Let the hydration be present. Let them stay nice and well hydrated. No yellowing of the leaves. A great sign if you're losing water at high heat is yellowing of the leaves. They'll drop. Taking care of the watering aspect all summer long is really important. You will see the trees will actually, their leaves will droop a little bit. You can kind of see it here, but more prolonged dehydration of the trees, you'll just see yellowing of the leaves. They'll almost go dormant, but you'll see drooping of the leaves, and that'll be a great indicator they need water. And I want you to watch the next episode as well on how I set up the irrigation system for my in-ground trees as we are in this hot space here with not enough shade. So thanks for watching Fig Fam. I hope you guys are mulching this summer, but if you do it safely. I was cutting really close today. I need to go hydrate a lot. It's about noon now. It took me about 2 hours to get it all done, and you got to drink lots of fluids, lots of electrolytes. So get your salts in there too. And if you are sensitive to the heat, do it early in the morning. Late in the evening, it's better, but it's still kind of hot because you still have the residual heat from the day. But if you do it early in the morning, that's the best time to get out and work in the heat and lay your mulch, and your trees will thank you. All right, take care, Fig Fam.